Well, coming up on today's show, China has a record month for EV sales. ChargePoint makes it easier to drive across North America, easier than ever before, and yet another award for the Jaguar I-Pace. Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to EV News Daily. It's Monday, the 5th of November. Happy bonfires night if you're going out tonight, or maybe you did something over the weekend with fireworks and bonfires. We've been through every EV story over the weekend that I can find, at least, that I think you want to know about. Thank you to myev.com. They help make this show, and when they're not doing that, they're busy building the world's first marketplace, all about buying and selling electric cars and adding more and more cars and vehicles every day for you to have a look at online at myev.com. We'll start with the CleanTechnica report today. They've been doing some incredible journalism in 2018 so far. That continues with a CleanTechnica look at the stats of Chinese EV sales, what they call the PEV market, the plug-in electric vehicle market. Now, of course, in China, they are otherwise known as NEVs, new energy vehicles. It is the wrapper that they use, the kind of catch-all phrase for anything with a plug. After a few months of threatening to break the all-time record, which was set 11 months ago now, 102,000 units sold, the Chinese plug-in market finally hit a brand new high with almost 105,000 plug-in vehicles registered in a single month. That is up 66% in line with the previous month's growth rates. Now, it's Jose Pontes for CleanTechnica putting these graphs together, these stats together. I'll put a link in the article if you want to have a look at all the biggest sellers. What you need to know, though, is that the domestic market in China, the domestic market there is more than enough to absorb current production of plug-in electric cars, held by the fact, really, that it's still a protected market, and foreign automakers took a long time to even look seriously at the niche of EVs. But with plug-in quotas to be fulfilled in the near future, foreign brands are really starting to put in real efforts and investing real amounts of money and not wanting to be left out of the Chinese party. So those Western car makers are heading to China. Of course, my question is always, what about when those Chinese makers head west? Will people mind the Made in China badge if they can buy an electric car for half the price? Those top three, by the way, the top three models in China, I won't go through all of the listings, but the top three, BYD in top place. BYD stands for Build Your Dreams, by the way. BYD Tang, it's a plug-in hybrid. In second place is the Chery EQ, and in third place, another BYD model, it's the One EV. Well, some good news for those wanting to do road trips and making charging accessible when you need to do those long trips. ChargePoint and FLO. Is it pronounced Flow? I don't know. If you do, let me know if I pronounce it Flow, FLO. They announced a landmark roaming partnership that I've been meaning to get to for a couple of days on the podcast, and for one reason or another, I've not got round to this story. They're going to provide electric vehicle drivers across North America a seamless charging experience, a bit like roaming cell phone networks is the best analogy, really. ChargePoint and Flow members can now use public chargers on both networks in the US and in Canada, which is brilliant news. You don't have to register for multiple accounts or even incur additional fees. Well, ChargePoint is the leading EV charging network in the US, of course, and Flow, the EV charging leader in Canada, both collectively a significant presence across North America. The partnership not only simplifies EV driving for ChargePoint and Flow drivers, but demonstrates what's possible when the industry leaders all share a commitment to make it easier for drivers to charge wherever they go. The partnership's the first agreement of its kind in North America, and it does create a benchmark for future collaboration amongst players in the electric mobility sphere. Roaming between networks is fully operational today through the ChargePoint and Flow mobile apps. So this is what you do. To start a session, you use your existing account and you locate a charging station. You can start the charging session via the app and then you begin charging. Well, the participating networks have currently agreed to waive any additional fees for doing it with the other networks, if you like, and all transactions and taxes are handled on the back end according to your own country's tax laws. Drivers who roam will have a familiar experience to that of their primary network, wherever you are. So at launch, there's about 33,000 publicly available charging spots on both networks for seamless travelling around North America. And that is just a brilliant piece of news. I'll put a link to the ChargePoint media office on the website, on the blog and the show notes if you want to have a look for yourself. Congratulations once again to Jaguar and the team behind the I-Pace. Only a couple of days ago we were reporting on Germany giving it an award, and now Scotland has named it Scottish Car of the Year. The all-electric Jaguar I-Pace was crowned the overall Car of the Year and Best Alternative Fuel Car at the Scottish Car of the Year Awards. It was part of a hat-trick of awards for Jaguar. The E-Pace, which is their SUV, completed the awards trio, beating rivals to get the best premium SUV. So the electric version couldn't quite do all of them. Well, the latest recognition from the Association of Scottish Motoring Writers is the fourth time Jaguar's taken home the top spot, and caps an incredible week for the I-Pace after it was named as the first ever German Car of the Year earlier this week. I'll put a link to the Jaguar Media Centre on the show notes if you want to have a look at that press release for yourself. Well, Fastned are a company that I follow very closely, have the app on my phone. Even though there are no Fastned chargers where I live, I still like to see where the chargers are being built out, particularly the ultra-rapid ones as well. Of course, they're Dutch, and the Dutch fast electric charging provider Fastned, says this article, has set its sights on the UK as one of 4 markets to be targeted. Now, they're able to do that because it follows a big round of fundraising, about £9.6 million. That's about 11 million euros. This is David Pratt for Current reporting on this story. The company issued bonds last month, offering 6% interest a year over 5 years, and it's going to be paid quarterly in arrears. The proceeds are currently being used to expand Fastned's network beyond the Netherlands and Germany. It's got 78 stations already, and they want to include Belgium and the UK. They've got 12 fast charging stations under construction right now, and expects to use the latest funding to boost expansion. Bart Lubers is the co-founder of Fastned, and he said this, and I quote, "More than 5,000 people have now invested in Fastned. These people believe in our mission and our company. They see that the growth of electric mobility is accelerating. Where our stations used to only get a few visitors a day, we now see multiple cars charging at the same time. Our best station already attracts more than 100 visitors a day. It's just the beginning, and people are seeing it," end quote. One of the things I love about Fastned, they're really good on social media for posting little snippets of info they find interesting. For instance, when the Hyundai Kona was first out and people were charging it, they would publish the charge speeds. And the same with the Jaguar I-Pace as well, as people have been dropping into their stations and charging. Then Fastned have been great at putting those graphs online of how fast the cars charge and also how they taper as well. And when you look at a battery at 20%, which can take charge really quickly, and then it gets to 80% and the charge rate slows right down because it's just starting to trickle charge and do all that balancing of the cells inside the battery. The guys and girls at Fastned often put little things online that are real insight into how different batteries work. So well worth a follow and really interesting. Finally today, and to start your brand new week of stories, we'll round it off with something else that Elon said on that interview over the weekend. If you haven't heard any of my weekend podcasts yet, I do recommend the Recode podcast with Cara. It was on yesterday's or maybe the day before's podcast, talking about that. Probably the best interview I've ever heard with Elon Musk, because she asks tough questions but was sympathetic. She pushed him where she needed to, but also it was like two friends having a chat around a drink. So that's a real talent. I mean, there's a handful of interviewers in the world that can do a job that good, and it really was fascinating. And of course, Cara has great knowledge of Tesla as well, so it was nice as a Tesla fan not to something like the Joe Rogan podcast, which was interesting, but he clearly wasn't into Tesla, and so the questions were kind of more superficial, or maybe I should say slightly more big picture, which is good, but wasn't necessarily anything that I was excited about with his. This is a brilliant interview. One of the things that Elon mentioned in it was about how Tesla have had financial success through the years, despite being many dollars in debt, how they've grown very quickly, and how that profitability has come at the point of where Other car makers over the years have gone bankrupt. Tesla's sales continue to surge. Elon cast doubt about the financial condition of one of his competitors. That would be Ford, the only other US automaker to avoid bankruptcy in the last recession. In a wide-ranging interview, he said this, and I quote, "There's a good chance that Ford doesn't make it in the next recession." I'll put a link to that Inside EV's article if you want to read more. The comments are really interesting as well, because some people are like, yeah, damn right, Elon, Ford suck, they make no EVs. And other people in the comment section, rightly so, say, look, Ford have got some plans. The plans are progressing slowly. Ford are all about trucks. I mean, Ford aren't going to build an electric car that is going to sell anywhere near what a Ford truck sells, and they're selling plenty of them at the moment, so why are they rushing into expensive retooling of factories for EVs? Earlier in the week, I told you about how Ford and Volkswagen could be working together, with Ford using the platform that Volkswagen has developed to build their EVs. Of course, different companies being fierce competitors, but then sharing resources when and where it suits them is nothing new to the car industry, but it would be very interesting, and perhaps an admission as well that Ford say, you know what, we'll just use somebody else's technology, it's fine. And they might be okay with that. So watch this space, but Elon firing a few shots, saying Ford in the next recession could be the one that goes. Let's move on to our question of the week. Thank you to myev.com, as always, for setting this. New question this week, and it's one to get your brain around a little bit. What's the ideal way for you to get access to an electric car? Is it to buy one? Is it to buy one new or used? Is it to lease one new? Is it a subscription model? Would you rather just pay a subscription like you do on your mobile phone, your cell phone, your Netflix, all that kind of stuff? Would you rather pay a subscription? You can change your car every 12 months or something. You never really own it. You just subscribe to it. No servicing, because that's all looked after. Is it car sharing if you live in a big city? What's the ideal way for you to get access to an electric car? Maybe you've done it already, or maybe you're EV curious and you'll do it in the future. Let me know. You can email hello@evnewsdaily.com or the comment section of Facebook and YouTube. Thank you to 115 patrons of the podcast, whose generosity means that you get to hear this show for free. And if you are curious about what it's all about, I'd invite you to check out patreon.com/evnewsdaily. There's 286 previous episodes online for free in all the usual places you get podcasts from. If you can leave a little review anytime, that would be amazing. You wouldn't believe how much reviews really count in the kind of algorithm thing in terms of how well this podcast would be promoted. And of course, the more it's promoted by those podcast platforms, the more other people around the world get to learn, just like you and I, about electric vehicles. Come and say hi on the socials by searching EV News Daily. Have a wonderful day. I'll catch you tomorrow.